What is something you feel women often get wrong about men, and why? Just because I don't talk about my feelings doesn't mean I don't have them. I see questions in here asking guys if they ever get butterflies, for example, or things like that. Which we obviously do get. Honestly, there is a lot. I do find it frustrating when I try to have an honest discussion about how something makes me feel. And by the time it's done, I've been made to feel like it's all my fault for feeling that way. I suspect this is one of those things that has caused men to not talk about their feelings. Just because I am looking at you doesn't mean I am seeing you. Most of the time we men just stare at one direction and start to think something random in our mind. And most often women mistake it as we looking at them. That we are bad at communication. We aren't. We are bad at guessing whatever it is you are thinking and want us to do. Or guessing whatever it is you don't even know you want. That as a guy we don't get approached by nearly anybody, guy or girl. I was talking to a newly single friend about how getting dates has been hard and most don't go beyond the first date and how this has led to me being touch-starved. She was like, just go to any bar and people will come up and talk about anything. Both me and my roommate female laughed. She was 100% serious though. She thought just showing up and sitting there meant everybody would want to talk to you. Acting as if the 1% are men who pretty much run the political and financial world and do awful shit and get away with it means that all men live with that level of privilege and immunity to the law just because they're men. My biggest one is they literally get what I say wrong. I'll say anything. The girl will say, so what you're saying is. And it drives me insane. It's like, no, honey, I meant exactly what I said. IDK what the deal is with some women translating men's speech into something completely different. Erection does not equal consent. So many women get this wrong. Men are not easier to raise. We are easier to neglect emotionally. That most men make over 6 figures simply isn't true. A lot of women don't understand a lot of men are lonely. It's like a foreign concept to them. We're not the hive mind, so please, women, before you post the next why do men on this sub for the 78,900,765th time and get your post removed, allow me to offer a replacement. Men of Reddit, do would or why not? Better way. Does not come off as pretentious or generalizing, and you get the answer of how common this said action you're wondering about is, and what are men's opinion on it. You have millions of men on here. Use it to your advantage, not your downfall. This place is for curiosity, not agendas statements. We don't want sex 100 of the time. All of the time. At any given point in time. In any given place. From now until forever. We are also often not in the mood as well, so stop shaming us for it when you want some and we don't. We don't shame you when you've had a long day and are tired and just want to watch TV and go to sleep. Sometimes when we say we want to cuddle, we really do just want to cuddle. Our little buddy might be trying to say otherwise, but just ignore him. He just wants attention. Men are not how they're portrayed in media. Just like women, the reality is both simpler and more complex at the same time. Women feel often that men aren't people. In other words, men don't have feelings and urges and expectations and dreams and needs. Ultimately, women often see men more as human doings rather than human beings. And get very disgusted when the human being part emotions, his needs, his weaknesses, sicknesses, etc. comes to the forefront. They would do well to treat men with motivations just like they have and have the same forbearance. Just like they expect us to have of them. That if you're pretty, you can get any guy. I was once approached by a woman selling lottery tickets. If I won, I could ask her out. She thought she was some kind of superior being doing me a favor. But she revealed two things. One, she didn't care about my qualities as a human being. Two, instead she only cared about my money. So based on my qualities and values, she could actually never get me. The vast majority of us are not pedophiles and looking for wanting to harm children. That we only want one thing. Yes, there's a vocal population of men who do only want that, but manage to look past them towards the ones who want companionship, intimacy with little gestures throughout the day, and the sex is just an amazing bonus. Of course they'll have their times too, especially if it's been a while or they need to play catch up. But overall they'll show they're in it for wanting to be with you more than the act of sex. That we just want sex. Nope. Every single human on this planet is looking for a best friend. Someone that makes us feel at home and understood. Companionship. Another thing. Women's perception of the male desire. Men actually take pleasure from seeing a woman happy and satisfied. I'm gonna blow your mind, but when a guy says he wants to have sex with you, it means he wants to make you feel good. There's a reason why it's called love making. It's a selfless act. I think 99% of women are unaware of this, and a lot of men unconsciously as well. Many women assume men communicate like they do, where emotions and social dynamics are almost always in play. Like when I talk with them, the conversation might be charged with me thinking this or that about them in their minds, whereas I am just focused on trying to speak objectively on the topic. People often get stuck and fixate on how they feel about a conversation versus actual points discussed. The result is the other person seems to have experienced a whole other conversation, and honestly it's really frustrating from the male perspective, and sometimes it really comes off as a manipulative tactic or something akin to gaslighting. Just cause we want to offer a solution doesn't mean we aren't listening. It's because we're listening we want to offer a solution. We hate to see you going through something, especially if you're someone we deeply care love for. Not every man is Mr. Fix-It. I can fix a lot of things, but some things are best left to a professional. That we hurt too. We get made fun of or shit thrown back in our face when we express something. Hence the reason we get quiet and stoic. We aren't, but it just isn't worth sharing. When a man shows vulnerability to women, it suddenly makes him weak. No, it means he trusts you enough to lower his guard and open up. Even if he cries, that doesn't make him weak. He found the strength to show you his weaknesses and emotions. Maybe don't think of it as ugly anymore and appreciate it for what it is. He trusts you. Men choose to hide their emotions out of dominance or some kind of malicious reason. We are just too used to them being ignored or used against us. People always talk about how much they hate toxic masculinity. But when a man gets emotional about something or opens up, we are often told to just deal with it or be a man. Yes, women say that to us just as much as other men. All men are babies. Ugh. I hate this so much. I hear this all the time from women. Just because we can act silly and not be uptight does not make us babies. The fact that our priorities are different does not make us babies. Sure, some are, but 99% of the time I heard it from women that then go and lose their shit about something stupid and irrelevant and make their own childishness everyone else's problem. You often hear women say men are taught not to cry, which isn't true at all, and only somebody who didn't grow up male could think that way. Men are expected to attend to themselves. Nobody shows up when men cry. That's why men don't cry, because it doesn't work. People do show up when women cry. That's why women often do cry. Now let's just be clear, I believe men have the better deal there. But women's explanation for why hysterics are less common in men is just dead wrong. That men are simple. That they know everything about men. They don't know a shit. It's just majority of naive men who are propagating this myth.